King is Afro-Indigenous, descendant of the Menominee and Oneida Nation of Wisconsin. She earned her Master of Public Health from NYU School of Public Health. As an internationally recognized Indigenous rights activist and social entrepreneur, she is dedicated to developing and scaling innovative solutions to improve Indigenous health equity, access, and benefit sharing for Indigenous peoples. Is achieving change and gaining recognition in national publications like the New York Times and Forbes. In 2020, she was nominated as a David Prize finalist for her work to create a better, brighter New York City. In 2021, she was named as NYU Female Founder and one of the 100 most influential people in psychedelics by Psychedelic Invest. In 2022, Business Insider recognized her as one of the 16 most influential women shaping psychedelics. However, I know Sutton as a fellow co-founder and co-director of Urban Indigenous Collective, an Indigenous-led public health NGO supporting access to culturally tailored health and wellness services for self-identified Indigenous people in Wilmot-Weehawken and the greater New York City area through community-based participatory research, advocacy, community, and direct services. She's also the co-founder of Shop Talk, a culturally tailored mental health application. And she is also with the Indigenous Medicine and Conservation Fund as a program manager of engagement and benefit sharing, where she facilitates a relationship between psychedelic space and Indigenous traditional cultures that centers Indigenous sovereignty. Please join me in welcoming Sutton King, dear friend, colleague, and sister.
Segoli, Sutton King, Naptown, Pinu Jackson, Wabueni, Vanessa, Namakitota, Onata Agani. Hello, relatives. My English name is Sutton King. My Menominee name is Naptown, Pinu, which means who's first woman. As Ariel shared, I'm both Menominee and Oneida, and I identify as Afro-Indigenous. I shared with you in the Oneida language that I'm people of the Standing Stone, and I am true of them. As I stand here today, I can't help but reflect on the incredible journey that brought me here. Ariel Richer, my dear friend and co-founder, graduating with her PhD in social work. Ariel, words can't express the depth of gratitude and admiration I have for you. From day one, you stood by my side, disrupting and dismantling the oppressive systems around us, and amplifying Indigenous voices along the way. I remember when we first met, driven by shared dreams and the desire to uplift our Indigenous communities globally. You brought brilliance, your unique perspective, and a commitment to social justice. Together, we literally poured our hearts into building UIC. And today it stands as a testament to our determination to reshape the narratives, uplift Indigenous voices, and foster a more inclusive world. My sister. I'm humbled and full of fire today because you chose me to address this badass Native and Indigenous ceremony. This is not just a celebration of your academic achievements. This isn't just about getting a piece of paper, an expensive piece of paper, right? But a powerful statement of reclaiming our space in a system that was never built for us. I want to thank Nat and Melinda for the invitation today. Now, when they reached out to me, they asked me to speak, and they described me as a passionate, outspoken public health advocate and an activist for Indigenous rights. And I couldn't help but crack a smile. Outspoken? You're damn right. I've been an activist, organizing, disrupting, and speaking truth to power since the age of 15. And you know what? I wear that label as a badge of honor, because it means I'm not afraid to challenge the status quo. I'm not afraid to fight for what's right, and neither are all of you. My beloved warriors, fierce dreamers, relentless disruptors, and courageous fighters. I stand before you today honored to honor the strength and resilience of every soul present, embracing the diversity that defines us. In this space, we acknowledge and uplift the voices of all of Indigenous kin, who bring wisdom and power to our collective journey. Today, we unite as warriors of justice, defenders of equality, the architects of a world where every person, regardless of the colonial border that separates us, thrives authentically. Now, before we begin, remember you chose me as the keynote speaker. We have to take a moment to acknowledge and honor the land in which we are situated. Here in Columbia University, we sit upon the ancestral homelands of the Lenape, the Manhattan, the Canarsie, the Shinnecock, the Rumpel, the Munsee, and the Haudenosaunee nations, who have all stewarded these lands for time immemorial. We pay respect to their elders, both past and present, and express gratitude for their continued presence and contributions. Now, let's get real about this name, Columbia. It's named after Christopher Columbus, the epitome of a colonizer. This name symbolizes the erasure of indigenous cultures and the brutal conquest of lands. It reminds us of the exploitation and the conquest that disregards the rich cultures and vibrant civilizations that flourished on this continent long before European arrival. But it's time to reclaim our narrative. We're not about celebrating conquerors. We're about honoring the rich legacies of indigenous nations that have thrived on this land long before Columbus arrived. So let's acknowledge the impact that this name has had on our indigenous communities. And it's a constant reminder of the fight that we have every day for the wage of self-determination and sovereignty. This land acknowledgement is more than words. It's a battle cry. It's a declaration of solidarity. We won't just stop at an acknowledgement. We'll use our voices, our platforms, and our power to amplify indigenous voices, to uplift our struggles, and to fight for our rights. Let's tear down the walls of ignorance, build up our resilience, and fight for our rights. Together, we'll rewrite the narrative, reclaim our power, and honor the land and its original stewards. Now listen up, warriors. We need to talk about the gravity of this moment. We're not just here to celebrate your academic achievements. We're here to rewrite history. The halls of academia have lacked the vibrant presence of Native American and Indigenous knowledge for far too long. However, we stand as a powerful testament of resilience and triumph of adversity. Our presence here is more than a personal achievement. It's a hope for future generations. When our people see us walking across that stage, it sends a message. You belong. Your voice matters. Your heritage matters. And your dreams are valid. I want to take you on a personal journey. One that resonates deeply with Indigenous scholars navigating two worlds. Our ancestors understood the importance of bridging communities and enduring acculturation for survival, balancing Indigenous ways of being and knowing with the dominant Eurocentric culture, which is quite complex. I can still recall the day I told my mother my desire to attend school in New York City. With a confused face, she said, "Oh, you ain't even been there." And it was true. I had never been here before. But I knew New York City was where I belonged. I knew that my voice was needed, and I could find a home here. So at 18, my grandmother and mother packed up our car in Wisconsin, and we drove 15 hours to the Bronx. And when we got here, New York City looked nothing like what I had seen on TV, because again, they dropped me off in the Bronx. But quickly, the Bronx became my home, and I've been here for 12 years now. And many of us feel this weight of sacrifice, leaving our families behind. And regardless of leaving my family in Wisconsin, the teachings and principles of my nations and my people came with me. Because regardless of our physical location, our connection to Creator and our people resides deep here. So I want to share two teachings that hold significant meaning: kinship and seventh generation. At the core of Indigenous teachings lies a shared value of kinship. Kinship calls for all beings, animate and inanimate, to be good relatives, working in harmony for sustainability. These sacred teachings, which guided our ancestors through colonization and exploitation, also protect Indigenous scholars within academia and corporate America. These Indigenous ancestral teachings and kinship practices, together we discovered communal healing, building a society based on kinship ensures that we are in balance with Mother Earth. The second teaching that comes from my people, the Haudenosaunee, we have long embraced the seven generation teaching. It's a principle that really urges us to consider the long-term impacts of our present decisions on the next 7 generations. It serves a reminder that our actions have consequences that extend far beyond our own lifetime. These teachings really emphasize sustainability and responsible stewardship of the land and the resources, and again, living in harmony with nature. This teaching really highlights this intergenerational and interconnected nature of the world, urging us to transcend far beyond our own individual needs. Now, my journey into research led me to an undergraduate academic institution where I explored the effects of acculturation and mental health on academic performance. This term, acculturation, in academia really resonated with me in my personal experience of being both African American and Native American. I really felt, that I was walking into worlds. That's what I always describe this experience. But I was really unaware of the profound impact that I had on my family and previous generations. And the research validated this. It is harder for us to exist in this world. During this research, I really delved into the average childhood experience study, which explored the relationship between your childhood experiences and adult health outcomes, right? And given my own experience of historical and intergenerational trauma as an Afro-Indigenous woman, my ACE score was 7 out of 10. This meant that I was 30 times more likely to attempt suicide, deal with suicidal ideation, and experience depression. And a typical school day was much harder for me, coming from the Oneida Reservation and moved into predominantly white schools. Most of my peers didn't look like me, and many of them did not accept me. Well, my ACE score was higher than average. It's really important to remember that my resilience score was equally proportional. Despite enduring significant trauma, my determination to overcome adversity surpassed all. Unfortunately, academia frequently fixates on the trauma experienced by Indigenous communities, disregarding our remarkable resilience as a community. In reality, we have demonstrated extraordinary conditions to be able to survive. My unique understanding of acculturation and the stereotypes embedded in the research really allow me to take a stand, rebalance power dynamics, center the resilience of our communities, rather than perpetuating a trauma-centered storyline. The opportunity for Indigenous scholars to reshape the narrative is an act of reclaiming our power as experts in our own cultures and facilitating healing for the future generations. I have transitioned from merely walking into worlds to actively bridging them, and so have you. The ability to walk into worlds to navigate the complexities of our existence is a gift passed down through generation to generation. It's a gift bestowed upon me by one of my ancestors, particularly one of my great-grandfathers, Chief Oshkosh the Brave of the Menominee people. He was a visionary leader who understood the profound significance of culture and tradition as the very foundation of our survival as a nation. In the face of immense pressure from the settler state to uproot our people from our ancestral homelands, my grandfather recognized the dire consequence of removal. He foresaw the devastating impacts that it would have on our community, our identity, and our connection to the land that nourished us, our life source. With determination, he became a bridge between our community and the colonial state. He made strategic decisions to protect our community, and he negotiated the succession of over 10 million acres, ensuring that we retained a connection to our ancestral lands. Today, we are one of the few who remain on our ancestral lands connected to our creation story, and it really is a testament of his enduring legacy and commitment to advocacy in the name of our community and cultural survival. His resilience and commitment to pursuing our heritage continues to guide me on this journey. His example serves as a reminder that our culture is not just a relic of the past, but a living, breathing force that empowers us in our present and shapes our future. Now, I had this idea that academia was going to be the key to my liberation, that it was going to help me make sense of the hurts that I experienced, that my family experienced. And then they hit us with this genogram assignment in my clinical practice course. Seriously, who even knows what a genogram is? It's like a twisted version of a family tree, a visual display of, medical history and your family's relationships with trauma. And we were expected to draw it, actually, on this piece of paper and bring it to class. And it felt like some messed up show and tell session or something. And I looked at the professor and I said, I don't know that there's a piece of paper big enough for my family, and I don't know how it works in your world, but we don't just ask our family about our trauma. And I called my mother, and as soon as I mentioned the assignment, I could sense her instant regret to send me to this private Catholic college. But there I was sitting on the floor in my dorm room with the largest piece of paper I could find from Staples, trying to make sense of my family tree, because my grandma's one of 14 siblings. And as I delved deeper into the archives, I discovered that my grandfather, Chief Reginald Oshkosh II, was of the first cohort among the many young souls who were forcibly removed from their family and thrust into the unforgiving corridors of Carlisle Indian boarding school. And as shared earlier, that mantra being, "Kill the Indian, save the man." I found letters written, begging to come home. And again, it's a stark reminder of the atrocities inflicted upon our people. But in that moment, I realized that education had become my weapon, my shield against the forces that sought to erase our identities. The classroom became my battleground, where I could challenge the experience of oppression, where I could reclaim our stories, amplify the voices that were once silenced. Throughout history, we have experienced the devastating impacts of colonial education, designed to strip us of our language, our culture, and our identity, forced into these boarding schools where our traditions were suppressed and where they tried to break our spirits. Education was used as a tool to hurt and assimilate us, is now being redefined by our collective power of resilience. Education is no longer about assimilation. It's about revitalization. We are creating spaces within academia, showcasing the richness of our diversity and our indigenous knowledge, really challenging the notion that Western knowledge is superior. We are reclaiming our rightful places as scholars, educators, leaders. We are transforming education into a powerful tool for empowerment and decolonization. And as we celebrate our academic achievements today, let us also and to be steadfast in our commitment to cultural preservation. We are the descendants of resilient nations, bearers of ancient wisdom, and agents of change. Let us continue to walk in the footsteps of our ancestors, building upon their legacies and creating a future where culture thrives, our voices are heard, and our communities flourish. We owe it to them to make the most of this moment and create lasting change in our communities. Now, we didn't just survive, we excelled. We defied expectations, we shattered stereotypes, and we rocked the foundation of this elitist educational system. Our Friends in Study represents revolution in the making, science, arts, technology, policy, you name it, we stewarded it. But let's not forget about the kid that had our backs when things got real, because they did. Our support networks, These are the people who kept us going, who believed in us when we doubted ourselves, our families, our mentors, our friends, and the fierce staff at Columbia University. They had your backs. They knew you were destined for greatness, and even when society tried to tell us otherwise. So take a moment right now to show some love and gratitude to those in our kinship circle. So my fellow warriors, let's celebrate this milestone with the awareness that we are part of something much bigger. Let our education not only uplift ourselves, but uplift our communities, our cultures, and the voice of all Indigenous peoples. Together we stand at a critical juncture in history. The challenges that we face are immense, but so is our potential for transformational action. Remember kinship, stay connected, not just with one another, but with a broader movement for justice and liberation. Remember the 7th-generation teaching. Reach out across generations, across communities, and uplift those whose voices have been silenced for far too long. And remember to draw strength from the wisdom of your ancestors, and let their spirits guide you on your journey. Your presence is a testament to the power of unity and community, and I am humbled by your commitment to a better future for yourself and your people. As you step into the world beyond these walls, remember, you are fierce, you are resilient, and you are your ancestors' wildest dreams. This is not the end of your journey, it is just the beginning. Do not ever forget that you are deserving of so much more than just a seat at the table. So let us not simply settle for a place at their table, but scrap their table and use it for wood for a bonfire. That's a symbol of our resistance. Let us ignite a fire, a blazing inferno of change and empowerment that warms us all. We are the architects of our own destiny, the builders of a future that refuses to accept the limitations imposed on us. As we gather the broken pieces and fuel the flames of transformation, remember the power that resides within you. Embrace your uniqueness, your strength, and your spirit. Together, let us create a world that not only recognizes our worth, but celebrates it. Go forth and unleash the fire within you. Not just for you, but for the 7 generations. Let it guide you. Let it fuel your actions, and let it inspire others to join this powerful movement. Congratulations, my warriors, class of 2023. The journey ahead may be challenging, but together we are forging new paths, rewriting the rules, and illuminating a future that honors and uplifts voices for all. So I will leave you with 2 words on your journey. Scoden. Scooters.